Hey guys, Mikhail here for another device deal video. Today we're going to be looking at security cameras, and particularly the new EufyCam 2C Pro, just launched in Australia. They've been around in the States for a little while, but we've just got our hands on them now, which is great. For some of you, you may have heard of Eufy before. If so, this is just a continuation of the 2C model previously, and this is just in the 2K version. But I'll go into a bit more of the details later on in the video. Also, I'd like to mention that with the accessories we've got around me now as well, we are going to be creating bundles down the track. So if you're going to shop with us in the future, it'd be great for you to grab one of these bundles and create a whole home system. And on top of that, if you are also aware of the security cam system, but not so much of the Eufy, you may have heard of Arlo before. It's a very, very popular brand in Australia and globally. If you know much about Arlo and you wanted to kind of compare this to an Arlo model, I would say this most closely represents the Arlo Pro 3 version. We'll probably do another video down the track doing actual comparisons between the two brands, but for now, let's get on with the video. Okay, now for the unboxing. Let's see what's inside. So, straight off the bat, first thing you see will be this little blue envelope here, which one comes with a little pinpoint thing, which I'm sure is just to reset the base station in case you ever have to do that down the track. Inside, we've got some stickers, which can just, warn people if they're walking by, make sure they're not going to come break in. You've also got your quick start guide, as well as like a Apple HomeKit quick start guide, and then also some camera mounting screw positioning cards. Not exactly sure what these for. I think it's just to assist you with when you actually mount the camera to ensure it's on the right spot. But yeah, so that's in there. Then digging deeper into the box, you can see here I've got all the cameras and the base. So just by the way, we're unboxing a 2-camera kit here. They do come in like a 3 and 4 camera kit as well. At Device Deal, we actually exclusively do some larger packs as well. So if you want to see those and ask us about some information about those, always happy to help. Yeah. So I really like the size of these. They're really nice and small and compact. So, they're not going to take up a lot of room. Nice, clean, white design. On the back, you'll just have your ports, which are one for power, USB, Ethernet, and of course, just to sync the alarm and whatnot. So got that. The cameras themselves, again, really small. I know the Arlos are kind of small as well, but these are tiny, so really good to kind of hide them in plain sight or wherever they are. They're not going to be easy to spot. So although they've got a spotlight in them, if you don't want to turn that off, to keep it a bit more discreet, you can do that as well. But again, I'll go a bit more further into the feature details a bit later in the video. So we've got your 2 cameras. Then I believe we can take this out. We've got your lucky white box, which will include all your cabling and mounts. So only screw mounts for these, no magnetic mount capabilities for these ones. So you get your 2 mounts, your AC power for your for the base, just your screw kit stuff for the mounts as well, Ethernet cable. This is obviously to connect the base to your router for setup. Again, I'll explain that a little bit further on. You've also got a micro USB cable as well, which is going to be to charge up these cameras. A screw kit for your base, for the mounts as well, and of course, charging kit for the cameras themselves. So everything out, really simple, nice and easy, really kind of subtle look to it. Again, the white, it's small. It's really good for not just a really good quality system, but just to keep it discreet as well. I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway I get is how small these are. So yeah, really discreet and hard to see, which is good for any incoming intruders. So let's get on to the next part of the video. So now for the features, what does the camera actually do? So first thing, as we mentioned, is the 2K resolution. So this is really taking a step up from, I guess, the market standard for the last few years, which predominantly, if you're looking at alternative brands and stuff like that, everything seems to max out at 1080p or full HD, except for Arlo, but now this is going to really lift that standard. So 2K resolution, fantastic to look at, really makes things crystal clear. You also get 135 degrees field of view, so you can get a pretty good idea on what you're going to see per camera, rather than having to get multiple cameras to cover one area. So really good in that aspect. You've got your two-way audio, so if anyone's going to walk in front of these cameras, you'll get a notification. If it's someone, at the door, you can either speak to them or, try to tell them off. You've also got an alarm system built in as well. Well, the alarm is only in the base station with these, not in the camera itself. That's another thing that kind of differs to the Arlo newer systems. What else we got? We've got 180 days battery life. Now, this is what they advertise at, but I want people to be very skeptical just because they actually even mention it in a little bit of writing down the bottom that the 180-day battery life is based on an average of 300 seconds or 5 minutes of recordings per day. So, if you're using this for somewhere that's going to have either high traffic, or if you're trying to use it we've had people shop with us and they're trying to use it for like shop surveillance during operating hours, it's probably not really suitable for you then. It's definitely more of a security system to capture only a couple events per day. As you mentioned, if you're looking to get that full 6-month battery life, it's only 5 minutes a day. So keep that in mind when you are looking at the advertising point of the battery life, because it's something we do get people talk about to us quite frequently. Another thing I'll talk about is the free storage that's involved. So, really handy feature. So there's actually internal 16 gig storage built into the hub itself. They say that can last 3 months. That's what they advertise it as. Again, I'm pretty skeptical of that because that probably comes down to that similar aspect of only up to, a couple minutes a day will get you that 3 months. So more realistically, think of it as, maybe 1 month or a couple weeks or whatever. It's really like how long is a piece of string, it is going to be different for everyone. So that's the advertising point, but just keep in mind, everyone's different depending on how often or how long your recordings are. You've got a spotlight involved as well in the camera, which really helps with not just the, overall picture you'll get, but especially the night vision. So there's 2 options with the night vision. You can get colored night vision, which of course will only interact when there is the spotlight's on, but if you decide to use the spotlight turned off because you don't want people to know that there's a camera, you still get really good night vision as well, but it'll be more that traditional black and white. But at the 2K resolution, it still looks fantastic to me. Another thing you can do is integrate it with all your HomeKit stuff, so all your smart home stuff, So these days, everyone's either got, Google Assistant, Apple HomeKit, Amazon Alexa. This can be integrated with all of that. So really keeps everything kind of streamlined and really, modern, up-to-date, futuristic, whatever you want to call it. What else is there? Oh yes, activity zones. Sorry, that's one thing that slipped my mind. So, activity zones, really helpful with not only, preserving the battery, but also seeing what you want to see. So a really handy feature of the activity zones, let's just say to run a scenario. If you have, let's say, a backdoor camera, you have a pet, let's say, you do not want to be notified every time your pet walks in front of the camera, because that could be frequent. You only want to see when, let's say, someone's jumping over the fence maybe. So you can set an activity zone where you're only actually get notified and get recordings for when there's activity in, let's say you set the zone that's above the fence. So, if someone's climbing over the fence. So that can not only preserve the battery life, so you're not picking up things you don't want to see, but it also just keeps it really focused. It's a really handy feature, and it's a free feature, which I think is a really good inclusion in this. When it comes to the storage, I mentioned there's inbuilt storage as well, but they do have a cloud storage feature if you like. There is that charge with that, but the whole advertising and the way this is kind of meant to be used is just use the local free internal storage that it comes with, which is really great. One thing I really do like about these, which again, we'll mention probably in a different video when we're comparing the Arlo, but one of the biggest differences I've seen myself between the Eufy and the Arlo system is how you can set up and change the location of the base. So during the initial setup, you will need to connect the base to your router just for the setup phase. But once that's done, the base can actually save the IP address. So then you actually have the option to then take the base, or sorry, remove the Ethernet cable and then just use it with power and just basically place it anywhere around the house. So that really helps with people covering spots where, you know, if you've got, you know, the office or the router in one side of the house, but you want to have the cameras on the other, and you're concerned about the range not being good enough, then this is a really good option for that, because then you can actually move it closer towards where the cameras are going to be. So I find that to be a really interesting, handy feature, and of course, no extra charge or anything like that. So it's fantastic. Another thing you can do, and so speaking of the range, it's about 90 meters. So, you know, with a clear line of sight, no barriers and stuff like that, you can ideally have them around 90 meters away, but of course, walls, brick walls, anything else in between will affect that, but just to give you a rough idea. So the cameras are weatherproof as well, with a pretty strong rated IP67 rating. So, you know, if you're going to keep it outside, when it rains and whatnot, there's no really need to be concerned. So it's really good in that regard. You've also got good encryption as well. So it is quite secure. You know, people are concerned about privacy and stuff like that with these, but it does have, you know, it does have password login and encryption based, so it is very well secure as well. And on top of that, I guess something else I want to mention is, you know, as you may have seen at the start of the video, or even just in general, there's a lot of accessories that you can pair up with this, and it's all unified. So a good thing is that if you're going to start off with the cameras, let's just say, the base that's included with it will be universally unified with every other accessory that's involved that does require a base. So I know I've seen myself, you know, sometimes the doorbell can be sold with a base or without a base. You can just use it as an add-on. It doesn't need different bases for different products. Everything can go through the one product. So keeps it all unified, all in the same app. I find it really easy to use, and yeah, it's a fantastic product all around. So to conclude, the EufyCam 2C Pro Edition is a great new addition to the Eufy family, and I believe it's going to be the one that starts to make it become a household name. You've got all the features you can possibly believe of, and including in a 2K resolution. So again, super crystal clear. You can see everything you need to see, including number plates and any kind of minuscule features that you need to see in frame. It's got everything that you need. You've got great field of view, two-way audio, siren, weatherproof, integration with your smart home system. It's got everything. So overall, it's a fantastic product, and I strongly believe that you should have a look at it yourself. And if you're going to look at device deal down the track, keep a lookout for our bundles. You can really keep it all unified under one system with a smart lock, motion sensors, floodlight. There's really quite a lot of endless products to it. Oh, one last thing to mention as we go out. Solar panels. So that is something that, while we don't have as the time of this video has come out, it is something that's coming in the future. So with these, if you are concerned about battery life, while it wasn't something that they had previously, it is something you can buy soon enough. So if you don't want to take them down, even if you think the 6 months is not good enough and you want to have it there for a year or longer, solar panels, keep a lookout for them. So my name's Mikhail from Device Deal. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one.